What's up guys, this video we're going to show you how to text girls in difficult situations. We're going to be breaking down 10 tricky text interactions, showing you guys the perfect response so you guys can handle any text situation that comes your way. Alright, so these were submitted to me, so I haven't looked at these too closely, so you guys are going to get my genuine thought process as we go through these. We're going to be going through 10 difficult text interactions. Let's start with the first one. So this is an interesting one. So basically he opens the girl and he makes a very corny joke. He's like, I like your style, it moves me because her name is Moo, haha. She's like, is that supposed to be a joke? Yeah, because your name's Moo, don't worry about it. So whenever you have to explain a joke, it's generally not a good look. And she's like, lol, horrible joke. So that is a very tricky situation to wind up into. And I guess what he's thinking about saying, there's plenty more where that came from. You able to handle it? No. So she's like saying, that's horrible. It's like, oh yeah, well, there's going to be even more horrible jokes. It's like, why would you confirm a negative? So how would I handle that? The girl says, lol, horrible joke. I would say, I would probably make a joke about that. So I would say, oh yeah, my grandpa typed that. I'll try to keep him on the leash, don't worry. Something along the lines of that. So I would probably make a joke out of the situation we're in. I mean, if you're just logically like, oh yeah, it wasn't one of my best ones. You know, it's like, okay, I guess you can do that, but I'll probably make a joke and be like, again, I'll probably say something like, yeah, my grandpa took my phone, but don't worry, I'll keep him on a leash, on a tight leash from now on. You're good, or something like that. Something along the lines of that. So I'll kind of make a joke out of this whole situation. All right, let's move on. So basically, he's making here plans with a girl. So they're talking about logistics, and she's like, I'll check, where should we meet? He gives the name of the restaurant, and then she doesn't respond, so he waits a few days, says allergic to the place. I probably wouldn't have said that, but okay, we are where we are, says no, but I have huge time management problems this Friday. Of course, I understand if you're angry, you don't want to see me anymore. I think it's a real pity, you're very nice. So it's an interesting situation, right? So she's not saying no to the date. She's just saying, whoa, I have a lot going on. I can't commit. So what would I do in a situation like that? Well, I actually think this is a very straightforward situation. I'll probably not meet on a day where she's not sure about. I would say, why don't we do a date then that you can actually commit to, right? I would be like, okay, well, let's not do Friday then, because Friday is like kind of up in the air for you. I don't want to get into a situation where you're going to flake on me. So I would say something like, no worries. What's a day that you can actually commit to? Something along the lines of that I think would be a good response. All right, let's keep going. But yeah, that one's just fairly straightforward, just logistics. Okay, so the girl's like, so they're going back and forth. She's like, not as much of a tool as you've seen for your pigs. They're cute though. So she's kind of negging him. He's like, come again. Sorry, man. No offense by that. You're just very attractive. Sometimes guys I talk to on here are a little douchey. Okay, interesting. She's like, you're good. Just make it up to me on our date. And she doesn't respond. He says, if you're still intimidated, I understand. Still pretty intimidating, trying to decide. So how to respond to that? I think this one's also actually fairly straightforward. I would just figure out what her objections are. I would just say, what makes you feel intimidated? Or what are your concerns? Like literally something as straightforward as that. Get her, write out her concern. If it's like, oh, it's just like, I'm really nervous because you're good looking. I'll be like, well, you're quite cute too. I'm sure, I think you can handle my good looks or something like that. But we need to figure out what her actual concern or objection is. All right, let's keep going. So this is an interesting one. I think this is something that a lot of guys find themselves in. So he's like, you're cute, what are you looking for on here? She's like, thank you, my profile is accurate, looking to go on dates and find a meaningful connection with someone. My intention is to find a connection worth a relationship, but of course wanted to take my time to really get to know someone before making that commitment. What are you looking for? There's two ways to handle that, and it really just depends on how honest you want to be. Now, if you want to be honest, which is probably what I would recommend, is I'll just be upfront about what you're looking for. So if you're not looking, to actually get into a relationship with someone, I would just straight up say, oh, I'm just looking for, a cool girl I have chemistry with, maybe some kinky sex and cuddles, right? And at that point, she can decide whether she wants to take it or leave it. Now, of course, there's going to be a lot of you guys who are more Machiavellian. You're like, whatever, I don't give a shit. I'm willing to bend the truth. In that situation, then you're going to kind of play into what she's saying. I would just say, then in that situation, I would say something like, sounds good. Connection is always important. I'm also looking for something along those lines. Cool girl I have chemistry with, and then you can say maybe kinky sex cuddles. You can add that sexualization at the end once you basically validate what she's saying, right? But again, I personally would not recommend that strategy because you're going to be in a situation, right, where some girls can be disappointed at some point down the line. All right, let's keep going. So they're texting back and forth. He's like, you got a few of my weaknesses. She's like, what are those? Tattoos and piercings, cute eyes and a smile, possible nice booty, and a hint of wild. Okay, the wording here is weird. She's like, lol, some large assumptions there. It's kind of like a shit test. So the way I would handle that is, I would say good things come in big packages. There's something along the lines of that. So I would make a joke out of what she's saying. Yeah, probably something like that. I probably would not say that's not the only thing that's large. It's kind of funny, but it's too bro-y. So yeah, I'll probably say good things come in big packages. Something along the lines of that. Or you could say, would you prefer if I made small assumptions? You know, that's another way of handling that. Well, let's keep going. We have a few more. So he's like, so what are you looking for on here? I mean, a relationship, someone to spend time with and see where it goes. You just looking for a nice girl to wine and dine me. I wouldn't say that because you're playing into the feminine role. To wine and dine you, well, shouldn't it be the opposite? Well, it depends. She's like, oh, you're one of those guys that expects a woman to do whatever you want type of thing. Well, I'm looking for the opposite, so not sure if we're looking for the same thing. So how to handle that? The best way to handle that is by telling her that you're kidding, right? Making her feel silly for not picking up on the joke. So I would say something like, you do realize I was kidding, right? ... Right? Because at that point, she'll feel silly. She'll be like, oh my God, I took you seriously, ha ha ha. That's, I think, is the best and possibly only way of handling a situation like that. All right, let's keep going. I think we have two more. So he's like, my kind of girl, I have a plan. She's like, let's hear it. You and me splitting a bottle of wine on my romantic balcony with amazing view and weather, vibing and building chemistry, whispering fun things to each other and laughing, possibly neck kisses, but definitely dessert. It's an okay text, not one I personally like to use, but I've seen it work well for people. She's like, I'm not really a huge romantic, lol. So she's nitpicking, right? Don't worry, not the cheesy Hollywood kind of romantic. I have my own definition. I wouldn't have said that. I would have legit said, like, I've been like, damn girl, you're really nitpicking right now, right? Just basically playfully call her out on what she's doing. But now he's in a tougher situation because she's like, elaborate. So how to respond to that? Not the cheesy Hollywood kind of romantic. I would say that, that is a little bit of a tricky one. I would say, well, it's not the kind of romantic where I hold the door and wait to kiss you until the very end of the date and wait to awkwardly kiss you in the very end of the day. I mean more of a 50 Shades Grey type of romantic or something along the lines of that. Like I would kind of reframe it in of that, like, because at this point she's saying she's not into romance, so she's either into friendship or something more sexual. Well, if it's friendship, then there's nothing you can do, so you might as well just assume it's something a little bit more sexual, a little bit more dominant. Okay, let's keep going. So this is an interesting one. He's like, hey trouble. She's like, lol, hello, can I be honest? No. Can I lie? LMAO. Also no. So first of all, I wouldn't have said can I lie? LMAO. When she says no, I would have just been like, would you prefer if I lie? Right, just be a little bit more direct. No need for an LMAO. She's like, also no. So that's kind of a tricky one. How do you respond to that? Well, this girl is very, very likely a time waster, so it might not even be worth it to respond because out of all the girls we've looked at, this is the one that's least likely to work out, right? Because when a girl's being so low investment right off the bat, that is a very, very bad sign, right? It just seems like she's here to troll rather than actually, like, you know, have a discussion or a conversation with anyone. So she says, also no. How would I handle that? That's a good one. Cannot lie. She, LMAO. Also no. So I would say something like, well then, I think we're going to have a hard time communicating, or, well, I'm not sure how we're going to communicate that, or, well, I think that's going to make communication pretty difficult for us. Right, I would kind of address that in that type of way. Again, you can see this one I was thinking about for a little bit, because that's kind of a tricky one in all honesty. Okay, let's keep going. Hey trouble, I'm not trouble. Well, at least a bit, I hope. So aside from riveting conversation, what are you looking for around here? I probably wouldn't have done that. When a girl says, I'm not trouble, I said, well, hopefully you are, at least a bit, and then just leave it at that. Let her respond. She says just meeting new people, nothing serious. So that actually doesn't mean much. That doesn't mean she's looking for romance. That could mean she's actually looking for something very sexual, right? She just doesn't want to say it. So I would just assume that she's looking for something sexual and play into that. So she says just meeting new people, nothing serious. I might say something like, sounds exciting. Just literally give her a little bit of shit and just see how she responds to that, because chances are at that point she's going to get a little defensive and she's going to expand on that, or at the very least she's going to say, yeah, haha, and then you can be like, well, meeting new people is good. I also blah, 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 blah. Okay, and here we have the last one. So this is going to be a double text type of situation. He says, you looks just like my type. I mean, okay, guys, make sure you get the grammar on point. You look just like my type, not you seem like, or it's you seem like my type, but that combination of words makes no sense in the English language. She's like, thanks, my guy. Yes, my girl. You seem like a girl who's fun, adventurous, submissive behind closed doors with a bit of wild side. She says, no shit. You see right through me, gosh. And he says, that's one of my skills, my many skills. It's a little flat, doesn't give her much to respond to. I mean, I guess what he's trying to do is bait her and have her say, oh, what are the other skills? And then he blah, 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 right? I get it. It's okay. I don't know if I would have said that. When she says, no shit, you see right through me, gosh, I would have said, you could say that's one of my many skills, but you just follow it up with something else. You know, you say something like, that's one of my many skills. So, are you from here originally, or what are you looking for on here? Whatever, right? Just don't let the conversation like get this flat. But anyway, so she doesn't respond. So what do you do in a situation like that? Well, I would probably hit her with a takeaway, but probably a softer one because it's the first time she's not responding. So I would say something like, a woman, a few words I see. Right? That's a nice, playful takeaway, and I think it's one that's appropriate for the situation, and that would probably get her to respond. So whenever you're in a situation where you have to double or triple text, what you want to generally do most of the time is hit her with a takeaway, and I have a whole video on that. But hopefully, going through these examples helps you guys respond to girls in difficult situations. All right, hope you guys found this video valuable, and show some love, like I always say, by smashing the like button, hitting subscribe, clicking the bell for notification, and sharing this video with a few friends, because that really helps in the algorithm. Also, we're going to be doing a free webinar tonight at 7:30. Link is going to be in the description, so definitely make sure you check that out. We're going to be evaluating Tinder profiles, breaking down layer reports, and answering questions. Definitely don't want to miss out on that. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time.